Section 680.25 of the National Electrical Code addresses spa and hot tub requirements. It states that in addition to the requirements for swimming pools outlined in 680.20a and verifier, spas or hot tubs must have ground fault circuit interrupter protection for each 120 volts and 240 volts branch circuit that serves the spa or hot tub. It's important to consider exception number 1 to 680.25. This exception applies to a dedicated heater circuit that supplies only a single heater and is protected by overcurrent protection as required in 680.53b. This exception typically applies to the 240 volts heater circuit. Consequently, the pump would require ground fault circuit interrupter protection. Therefore, understanding the specific requirements for spas and hot tubs as detailed in 680.25 and its exception is crucial for ensuring electrical safety and compliance with the National Electrical Code. It's important to differentiate between the requirements for the heater circuit and the pump circuit, especially when considering the exception related to dedicated heater circuits. In general, all 120 volts and 240 volt circuits to the spa or hot tub needs to be ground fault protected. The exception only refers to the heater circuit. For a more detailed understanding, let's break down the relevant National Electrical Code sections and related concepts. Firstly, we need to consider the scope of Article 680, which covers electrical safety requirements for swimming pools, fountains, and similar installations, including spas and hot tubs. This article aims to minimize the risk of electrical shock hazard associated with these installations. Secondly, let's dive deeper into 680.20a, which specifically addresses the wiring methods allowed for swimming pools. However, 680.25 extends these requirements to spas and hot tubs, mandating ground fault circuit interrupter protection for 120 volts and 240 volts branch circuits. This requirement is in place to protect users from potential electrical hazards that can arise from faulty equipment or wiring. Thirdly, understanding the functionality of a ground fault circuit interrupter is crucial. A ground fault circuit interrupter is a device designed to detect even small imbalances in current flow, indicating a potential ground fault. When a ground fault is detected, the ground fault circuit interrupter quickly trips the circuit, cutting off power and preventing electrical shock. Fourthly, it is important to understand when ground fault circuit interrupter protection is required. The rule in 680.25 makes it clear that ground fault circuit interrupter protection is required for each 120 volts and 240 volts branch circuit for the spa or hot tub. Fifthly, let's examine the exception to 680.25 more closely. This exception applies to a dedicated heater circuit that meets specific criteria. The heater circuit must supply only a single heater, meaning it cannot supply any other equipment or loads. It must also be protected by overcurrent protection as required in 680.53b. This overcurrent protection is typically provided by a circuit breaker or fuse sized appropriately for the heater's ampacity. Sixthly, the reason for this exception is that dedicated heater circuits are often considered to be less prone to ground faults due to their isolated nature and specific protection requirements. However, it's important to note that this exception only applies to the heater circuit itself and not to any other circuit serving the spa or hot tub. Seventhly, the pump circuit, which is responsible for circulating water in the spa or hot tub, is not covered by this exception and must always have ground fault circuit interrupter protection. This is because the pump is more likely to be exposed to moisture and potential ground faults, making ground fault circuit interrupter protection essential. Eighthly, consider the location of the spa or hot tub equipment. The distance between the equipment and the water's edge can influence the risk of electrical shock. Equipment located closer to the water is generally considered to be at higher risk. Ninthly, the type of spa or hot tub, whether it's an Inground or portable model, can also affect the applicable electrical requirements. Inground spas and hot tubs are typically subject to more stringent requirements than portable models. Tenthly, compliance with the National Electrical Code is mandatory for all electrical installations, including spas and hot tubs. Failure to comply with the code can result in fines, penalties, and potential safety hazards. 11thly, local electrical codes may have additional requirements or modifications to the National Electrical Code, so it's essential to consult with the local authority having jurisdiction to ensure full compliance. 12thly, the importance of proper bonding and grounding in spa and hot tub installations cannot be overstated. Bonding and grounding help to create a low impedance path for fault currents, reducing the risk of electrical shock. 13thly, regular inspections and maintenance of spa and hot tub electrical equipment are crucial for identifying and addressing potential problems before they become safety hazards. This includes checking for damaged wiring, loose connections, and malfunctioning ground fault circuit interrupters. 14thly, when in doubt, it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician who has experience with spa and hot tub installations. An electrician can assess the specific circumstances of the installation and ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and in compliance with the applicable codes. 15thly, remember that electrical safety is paramount, especially in wet environments like spas and hot tubs. Ground fault circuit interrupter protection is a critical safety feature that can save lives by preventing electrical shock. 16thly, ground fault circuit interrupters should be tested monthly to ensure they are functioning properly. This can be done by pressing the test button on the ground fault circuit interrupter. If the ground fault circuit interrupter trips, it is working correctly. If it does not trip, it should be replaced immediately. 17thly, be aware of the different types of ground fault circuit interrupters available. There are ground fault circuit interrupter breakers that can be installed in the electrical panel and ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles that can be installed in place of standard receptacles. 18thly, it's important to choose the right type of ground fault circuit interrupter for the specific application. Ground fault circuit interrupter breakers are generally used for circuits that serve multiple outlets or equipment, while ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles are typically used for individual outlets. 19thly, when installing a ground fault circuit interrupter receptacle, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. This includes properly connecting the wiring and ensuring that the receptacle is securely mounted. 20thly, ground fault circuit interrupters are not a substitute for proper grounding. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, helping to trip the circuit breaker and prevent electrical shock. 21stly, the National Electrical Code requires that all metal parts of a spa or hot tub, including the pump heater and metal piping, be bonded together. This helps to create a common ground potential, reducing the risk of electrical shock. 22ndly, bonding is typically accomplished by connecting a solid copper wire to each metal part and then connecting the wire to a grounding electrode. The grounding electrode can be a ground rod, a metal water pipe, or another approved grounding method. 23rdly, it's important to ensure that the bonding and grounding system is properly installed and maintained. This includes checking the connections for corrosion and ensuring that the grounding electrode is in good condition. 24thly, the National Electrical Code also requires that a spa or hot tub have an emergency shut-off switch located within sight of the spa or hot tub. This switch allows users to quickly disconnect power to the spa or hot tub in case of an emergency. 25thly, the emergency shut-off switch should be clearly labeled and easily accessible. It should also be tested regularly to ensure that it is functioning properly. 26thly, consider installing a surge protector to protect the spa or hot tub equipment from power surges. Power surges can damage sensitive electronic components such as the pump motor and heater controls. 27thly, a surge protector can help to absorb excess voltage and prevent it from reaching the equipment. Surge protectors are available in various types, including whole house surge protectors and point of view surge protectors. 28thly, when choosing a surge protector, be sure to select one that is rated for the voltage and current requirement of the spa or hot tub equipment. 29thly, it's also important to consider the surge protector's dual rating, which indicates its ability to absorb energy from power surges. A higher dual rating indicates greater protection. 30thly, always disconnect power to the spa or hot tub before performing any electrical work. This will help to prevent electrical shock. Firstly, use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off before touching any wires or electrical components. A voltage tester can detect the presence of voltage even when the circuit breaker is turned off. Secondly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as rubber gloves and safety glasses when working with electrical equipment. This will help to protect you from electrical shock and other hazards. Thirdly, never work on electrical equipment when you are wet or standing in water. Water is a conductor of electricity, and working in wet conditions increases the risk of electrical shock. Fourthly, if you are not comfortable working with electrical equipment, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. An electrician has the training and experience to perform electrical work safely and correctly. Fifthly, remember that electrical safety is a shared responsibility. By following these safety tips and taking the necessary precautions, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and ensure the safety of yourself and others. 36thly, the information provided in this video is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before performing any electrical work on a spa or hot tub. Understanding and adhering to the National Electrical Code's requirements for spas and hot tubs is crucial for maintaining safety and preventing electrical hazards. Remembering to focus on ground fault circuit interrupter protection, proper bonding and grounding, and regular maintenance can contribute to a safe and enjoyable spa experience. Always consult with a qualified electrician for any electrical work to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. The goal is to minimize any potential risks associated with the electrical systems in and around these recreational water installations.